Mr. Ataide, please be seated. Ms. Pichi De Vera, Dean of Student Affairs, will now introduce the graduate who will give the response on behalf of all the graduates.
Good morning. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce to you the graduate who will speak on behalf of the graduating batch of third term academic year 2009-2010. She is an outstanding student leader who willingly served the students as an officer of the Student Council. She spearheaded projects such as the Pahiram Libro Online and Achiever Scholar Program. She also successfully lobbied for the reinstated priority enrollment and online distribution of adjustment classes. These are the projects she pushed for as the Executive Vice President of the Office of the Vice President for Academics and later on became the Vice President for Academics of the De La Salle University Student Council of the last academic year. She garnered numerous awards that recognize her excellence in leadership and service. She was awarded in the Gawad Mag-aaral 2009 for Most Outstanding Student in Discipline Leadership and Advocacy. And just recently, awarded as one of the top 10 outstanding students of the Philippines from the National Capital Region. She exemplifies as a holistically developed Lasallian, as she also excelled in her academics by winning the Best Thesis Award from the Financial Management Department for her thesis on microfinance. A consistent Dean's Lister, she also managed to be the Deputy Commissioner of the Lasallian Youth Commission, taking care of the formation activities of her fellow Lasallian leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, a recipient of the Student Leadership Award and a cum laude graduate of Bachelor of Arts major in Communication Arts and Bachelor of Science in Commerce major in Management of Financial Institutions, let us all listen to Ms. Nadia Bianca Nicolette Lim Ong.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ritchie. Good morning, dear administrators. Salutations, Brother Armin, our beloved President and Chancellor, and a pleasant morning, dear parents, faculty, fellow graduates, and guests. Every day, God gives all of us 86,400 seconds. Will have you use 1 second today to thank anyone? Well, I will use the next 100 of mine and yours to say our thanks. Thank you to our administrators who spend their days making sure that we get the quality, Lasallian education and experience we deserve. Thank you to our faculty who have imparted to us not only lessons in finance, psychology, and marketing, but more importantly, lessons in life. I remember during my thesis days, my group mates and I were working so hard for our thesis because we had dreams of getting outstanding thesis. Well, as for me, I had a dual goal, to get that best thesis and to get a 4.0. Because getting a 4.0 would mean I would be graduating magna cum laude. If I get 3.5, my CGPA would be 0.001 away from magna. So after all the hard work, sleepless nights, countless call-outs, interviews, and various consultations from almost everyone from the department, we did it. We got the most outstanding thesis. But sadly for me, we only got 3.5. I talked to our thesis coordinator, other professors, faculty members, and many others to ask if there was still anything we could do about it. But sadly, there wasn't. So I emailed my thesis coordinator one last time for a final try because the 0.001 just seemed painful. And this is what he replied. Dearest Nadia, thank you for your letter. I would like to remember you as an outstanding student and a hardworking one, and I do believe that is who you are. Then the letter went on saying how the rules are and how it was against policy to change grades. And then he went on saying, I do hope you understand that these are institutional rules and that I, as mere faculty, is subservient to the institutional rules and regulations. Thank you for understanding. I hope the explanation will suffice and help you move on to greater heights and success. Congratulations. I pray that your pain will not prevent you from celebrating and sharing your well-deserved well-deserved victory with your loved ones in your young life. I believe that the magna nor a cum laude title will not define you in life. It never did for me, and it never will. I believe in you. Again, thank you. Sincerely yours, Thesis Coordinator. So you see, this is the kind of lesson that may not be taught in the classroom, but it sure did help me learn to accept what initially seemed to be so hard to take in. This is also the kind of lesson that doesn't need to be taught by the smartest, most intelligent doctorate degree holders, but by someone who is simply willing to share a piece of his own experience, not for the sake of doing his job as a professor, but for his unselfish wish to teach his student not just how to earn a living, but how to live. And I think this is the kind of teachers that LaSalle should truly be proud of. Thank you also to the other employees of the university who have diligently worked behind the scenes in making sure that campus life in De La Salle remains to be first class. I'm sure our DLSU alumni parents have never heard of a desktop computer, an LCD projector in every classroom, or a coffee shop in the library, or maybe not even an online enrollment system. And who knows what other future innovations the future has for us. Because after all, the future begins here. We think we've worked so hard for 3 to 5 years to be finally graduating now. But if we think again, our parents have worked as hard or even harder all these years just to send us to this prestigious university. So, fellow graduates, may I ask you all to please arise and turn around to face our parents. And for all that they have done for us, let us all give them a warm round of applause. Thank you, Mom and Dad. We love you. So those smiles, that beam that I saw from our parents way up here, it's as if they were saying that that's my child and I'm so proud. Well, dear parents, we are more than happy to have made you proud today. And I hope you don't mind that just for a second I also greet my dad who's celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday, Dad. And above all, thank you, God, for giving us this wonderful life, for giving us each other, and for teaching us what it is to truly love. So why did I say our thanks? For I was told that if the only prayer you ever said in your life was a thank you, that would be enough. But then again, I was also told that as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest form of appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. And what better way to live by them than to make them even prouder when we leave the walls of the university and truly become what they have envisioned of us. LaSallian achievers for God and country. Out there, we have a newly elected president and newly elected leaders of our country. And just because we voted, it doesn't mean that our job ends there and that we simply wait for these leaders to change the face of our nation. I remember that Noynoy's campaign went something like, "Kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap." And he won by a landslide. This somehow indicates how much the Filipino people are clamoring for change. Change is a strong word. It is the only constant thing. It's the theme of Obama's campaign that also led him to victory. Change we can believe in. But no matter how hard you believe in your president, in your leader, change can only truly begin to happen if we start believing in ourselves and start the change we want to see. And you know what? I've seen change in this university, in this graduating batch. I was browsing through the internet, looking for some important figure, some famous political person, whom I shall use as an inspirational icon for my speech to revolve around. But then again, I thought, why do I have to go far and look for someone so unreachable when such inspiration can be drawn from someone much nearer, or someone from among us? So I chose to give you examples of people whom you will be better able to relate to. He might be seated right next to you now. So an example of change. Student Council Treasurer Pierre Lim, who lobbied for the lowest tuition fee in DLSU history and pioneered the use of credit cards for tuition fee payments just last month. Maritzi Chichi Villao, Student Council Vice President for Operations and Communications, whose love for the environment began with immersion with the Talatagan farmers and stretched on into making DLSU a zero-styro campus. Geronimo Hill Bautista, College Assembly President of the College of Computer Studies, who fought for that simple yet crucial thing his fellow computer study students were wanting, an eating area in Rockaway Lobby. So these are just examples of the potential we have. Imagine what else our summa cum laude, or our engineering students who built the solar car, and the rest of us can do for our society. Years from now, we will be in a position of power and influence. Some of us will be congressmen, mayors, governors, CEOs, business leaders, doctors, engineers, lawyers, teachers, and even celebrities. And when we get there, let's not just stay away from failures and difficulties. Let's also push for positive change. Let's strive not only for ourselves and our own families, but also for the rest of our Filipino brothers and sisters who will be counting on us. And along the way, in trying to start this change, challenges and obstacles will surely come our way. Oftentimes, the challenges are so discouraging that most end up giving up. But keep in mind that the really successful people are also those with the most failures. Please allow me to share a personal experience. I once thought of myself as a failure also. When I was a sophomore, I ran for student council treasurer. I lost. The following year, I ran again for the same position and lost for the second time. So after 2 heartbreaking losses, I just felt that maybe the student council just isn't for me. But God seemed to have other plans. I ran again for the 3rd time for a higher position, the Vice President for Academics, and then luckily there I won. And to run again after losing twice was one of the most difficult decisions I have ever made, but also the most gratifying one. If I had given up after losing twice, then I wouldn't have had the chance to serve the student body and push for the pro-student projects that Ms. Ritzy mentioned a while ago. If J.K. Rowling had given up after her first Harry Potter book got rejected by publishers, then there wouldn't be the Harry Potter series. If Abraham Lincoln stopped after losing 12 times in politics, then we wouldn't have the 16th President of the United States, who many believe to be the greatest American president. If Soichiro Honda had lost hope after failing at a job interview with Toyota Motors, then we wouldn't have the classic Civic and the Honda that many of you are driving today. If Thomas Edison had given up after failing at not just 1,000 but 10,000 experiments, then we wouldn't have the incandescent light bulb that revolutionized mankind's lifestyle. You see, the most successful people in this world are really the ones with the most failures. So let us not allow our failures to define us. Let them teach us and mold us. Remember, God never gives us something He cannot handle. So if a big problem is right in front of you, just smile and be proud because God has that much trust in you. For the true measure of a really mature and courageous person is not by how well he prepares for everything to go right, but by how he can stand up and move on after everything goes wrong. I wish you all a bright future. Thank you and congratulations.